Africa, say it louder. Say it Salam alaikum, 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 salam alaikum.
We stand, we beg, we fall. All we need is freedom. All we need is love.
Free from slavery, free from slavery, free as a man to slavery, free as a man to slavery, free as a man to slavery. Free from slavery, free from slavery. Yeah.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, African one. If you wanna be free, the most simple one in the world. Get yourself the better reggae music. Coming to you from the one of the most peaceful man. So many lying down on the streets. Whatever they do, we are crazy at the end. Get yourself the most free time. I preach about freedom. Preach about freedom.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Let us look on the street as a lesson, youth. Stop violence as a lesson. You have to listen and be a man. The music we are doing is not a music for fun. We are preaching, hear it loud and clear. Hey, night and day, no sleeping it up. Better preach, let the people hear. Better preach, let the mind feel. The sound of freedom and love. The sound of freedom and love. The sound of freedom. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. This is Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, of course, going live on January 30th, 2021. I welcome all our viewers all around the world, particularly back home in South Sudan, North Africa, East Africa, Australia, Canada, United States, and those who live in Europe as well. I welcome all of you. Thank you for joining us, being part of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan as usual. I know last week we did not conduct any live broadcasts for the situation that I explained to you when I visited Washington, D.C. with the mission of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan to go and do more advocate work regarding our beloved country, the Republic of South Sudan. One more time, I thank you all of you for coming on. And also because of the situation that had happened, you know, I have death on my family. So pay tribute to that person that died in my family. We did not conduct any show. Anyway, I welcome all of you as usual. Tonight, as you can see here, our topic, a lot of things are happening in South Sudan. A lot of new development things that are happening in South Sudan. But tonight, let's go ahead and talk about the JCE, the JCE, the Joint Council of Elders, take a U-turn against the government and support the National Dialogue Resolution. The question that we impose today, we are asking tonight,
What is behind this sudden move? We all know what JCE and what they have done so far, where they come so far. So that's why we are asking this question tonight. All of you, we will be joined by individuals, a member of United Citizens for Change, and also we will have an honored guest from National Democratic Movement, Ustaz Mading Maniel from Sydney, Australia. He will join us as well. He's going to be one of the panelists tonight. So, be it Ustaz Mading Maniel will be here, and also Ustaz Walatak, Wendy Marial, Moses Edward, and also our great writer and journalist, Ustaz Dengdida Yog, will join us, also be part of panelists. And don't forget, we are going to have Ustaz Abdullah Garang as well. And everyone also is invited to participate in this very, very important discussion tonight. As I said, the JCE takes a U-turn against the government and support the National Dialogue Resolution. What is behind this sudden move? So we will go ahead and make analysis statement issued by the Gen Council of Elders and revealing their negative role. All of you that knew what Gen Council of Elders has done in the past. Negative role, interfering and influencing the state decision in recent civil war, and their contribution to the fragmentation of social fabric in the country. These are the issues that we are going to talk about tonight. Also, extensive explanation of their role steering up, fueling hate in the non-Dinka South Sudanese communities in the country. Number three, also will be agreeing with them. We will be agreeing with them in supporting the resolution of national dialogue regarding the stepping down of President Salva Kiir and Dr. Yang Machar Tany, stepping aside and allow South Sudanese to move ahead. If South Sudan has to move forward, that's quote from the National Dialogue Resolution. All right. Also, we'll be talking, as usual, advocating for political change in the country and mobilizing the public, preparing to make a change. As I said, everyone is invited to this. The Gen Council of Elders here sound like people who have played a positive role, respect themselves as a savior. Did they really work for the unity of people of South Sudan by saving the country from the dangerous consequence? That's the question that we are going to ask also, right? And with that, what positive role did the Gen Council of Elders actually play as they claim to have been a force of good for the country? And I will be quoting what they have said on their statement. We'll be reading their statement into you so you can know exactly. And I'm quoting here what they have said also. Gen Council of Elders said that we did not do this by making a decision for the state. We did it by simply engaging various stakeholders in dialogue. We have been deliberately misunderstood, although the JCE is a force for the good of the country, not its destruction. Yet in 2017, President Kiir spoke in the National Parliament and complained that the biggest problem in South Sudan were the Jiang ethnic group and the SPLM. This is the quote from the statement of Jiang Council of Elders. My dear brothers and sisters, I welcome all of you as usual to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. And also in a very, very, very sudden, we have learned that member of Jiang Council of Elders, Dr. Aldo Ajodeng Akwe, has actually denied the statement that was issued 2 days ago. He was interviewed by respectful journalist Shirilo Matiang with the Al Mawqif newspaper. All of you knows Al Mawqif newspaper. Yeah, it was published yesterday, actually, and we would get more details coming Monday. So that's really interesting area to go there, that Aldo Ajudeng is denying the statement. So I wonder who wrote the statement then? It's kind of, taking me back, like what had happened when we were explaining to you the resolution of the National Dialogue, South Sudan National Dialogue Steering Committee, the first time on December 22nd, 2020. And then they did a press conference denying that actually they did not know where this statement come from and what that document that is being discussed on the social media is not belong to them. And we waited. Later, beginning of January of this month, 2021, another final document came out and we discussed it. And then they went numb. They went silent. No one ever said anything. So we are wondering what's going on exactly. Why all of a sudden they come out with things, and then when we discuss them, they tend to deny it. So my dear beloved countrymen and countrywomen, welcome to your forum, the Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. As I said, we are going to have a very respectful individuals here tonight to discuss this very important topic. We'll be moving in using English and Arabic. So with that, I want to welcome my guest on the studio, Ustaz Mading Maniel from Sydney, Australia. As I said to you a little earlier, is the Secretary General of Democratic National Movement. So Ustaz Mading Maniel, I will go ahead and bring you to the studio. And I wanted to repeat to our viewers in Arabic, the topic of tonight, مجلس أعيان الدينكا يأخذ منعطفا معكوسا ضد الحكومة ويدعم توصيات الحوار الوطني، ماذا وراء هذه الخطوة المفاجئة. مع بعض نتناول الموضوع ده، هيكون في تحليل and we go together. So let me go ahead and bring my guest to the studio and then we move on from here. And also I hope Ustaz will attack he can be ready to join us here momentarily. And Ustaz Deng Didayok, Wendy Marial, Moses Adwot, Abdullah Garang Adwot, and others to join us and be part of this discussion. Ustaz Mading Maniel, I welcome you. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. First time ever to have you on our show. Please, I yell to you to say a word of greeting to our audience, and then we move on from here. Fadal.
Thank you very much, Jankur, and any other.
And I want you to get closer to your computer so we can hear your voice clearly.
I'm using my
okay.
I'm using my mobile. Right?
That's awesome. Yeah, awesome. It's good.
I'm not sure if I'm very close enough, or do you want me to change? Can you give me 1 second to change?
Yeah. No problem. You can move it around. You can change it. If you have a higher seat, would be so awesome. A higher seat would be so awesome. So you can be higher on when you sit. Yep. Go ahead.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thanks you very much, Comrade Jankur, and also to Concerned Citizens Group. And I'm very delighted to be here, be one of the panels tonight. Tonight time is early morning here in Australia and Sydney, and the topic is really very interesting. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Mading Maniel. I am a South Sudanese citizen, Australian. I live in Sydney, Australia. I've been here for a long period of time. I've been around politics. Maybe some of you may not know me. Some may know me through social media. Secretary of Political Affairs in National People Movement, which is an organization being formed, and we are an opposition group, non-armed opposition group. operating and working for betterment of our country. We are also, one of our main objectives is to have a very peaceful, prosperous South Sudan, where all of us, where we can see ourselves, the four tribes, everyone can see him or her face on that mirror, the big mirror, which is South Sudan. Also, we are more diverse from different ethnic groups, and that's our setup. We've been working for the last 2 years here overseas as well, back home, although we are not officially registered back home, but we do operate politically in a certain level. You know, when you are not registered, you need to organize yourself in a different way. I hope tonight and today morning here, my contribution may be also for the benefit of all opposition forces. And we are looking forward to work hand by hand with all opposition forces in the country, outside the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ustaz Mading Maniel, for that a great introduction of yourself, introducing yourself to our audience here. And of course, we are all working for a political change in our country, a country that South Sudanese came from all walk of life together, 64 tribes, working for journey of justice and liberty and prosperity. I am so honored to have you on the program, as I said from the beginning. Many of you have heard, read the statement by the Gen Council of Elders. And we are going to read the Gen Council of Elders statement, later for people who did not have the copy, so they can be aware actually what had happened. If I may read here a question to you, I may ask you this question, Ustaz Mading Maniel, and it's not a problem. We can go and answer it in Arabic, or we can answer it in English. It's not a problem. Here, the statement is called breaking a silence. Gen Council of Elders, they call their press release a breaking a silence. Did the Gen Council of Elders properly break the silence and come up with something new and positive for the country after breaking their long silence? What is your comment on the title of their statement, Breaking the Silence? So it's interesting. So I want you to give us, your insight on this. Go ahead. As I said, you can answer it in Arabic, you can answer it in English. You are not.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I will use both languages.
وممكن اقرا السؤال ده كمان بالعربي للناس عشان هم يقدروا يفهموا. زي ما انا قلت صدر البيان، نحن العنوان بيقول كان كسر حاجز الصمت او الخروج عن الصمت. هل خرج اعضاء مجلس اعيان الدينكا عن الصمت بشكل صحيح في هذا البيان واتوا بشيء جديد وايجابيا للبلاد بعد ان كسروا صمتهم الطويل؟ ما تعليقك على عنوان بيان الخروج عن الصمت؟ تفضل استاذ مدين.
Yes, what I will answer the question, but what was in my mind was just if you could give me 1 minute or 2 minutes to highlight a very important point where, although all of us, we know how did the Gen Council of Elders become existing and why they're existing according to their declaration. Beyond the declaration, if we read outside the square, there are a few things we need to understand, and for our audience and viewers to understand really why this role has come to be, and if this releases belong to them, with the breaking the silence as they claim, is it really they break the silence? Where were they really silent? These are the questions we need to ask them.
Yeah.
When were they?
Yeah, if you want 1 minute, go ahead before you answer the question. No problem.
Highlight is that this group of elders, the Dinka Council of Elders, is a group of all politicians who assemble themselves for their own interests, using the name of the tribes to achieve their own political goal by letting the system existing system with the weak leadership. When the leadership could not afford, or when President Salva Kiir lost direction and doesn't have any political view, these people, they fill up the vacuum and start to drive this ship. Now, what they're trying to do, if this release is correct, what they are trying to do, they want to jump out from the ship, the sinking ship, which we know these politicians from very beginning in the old Sudan, they were having their own parties, and we know what is their history. Some of them, they came from SANU, some of them, they came from Democratic Unionist Party.
Go ahead.
But in reality, who was responsible of these parties? These two parties were being supported by other political parties in the North Sudan. It's their game. The Umma Party was supporting SANU, and the Democratic Union Party was supporting Southern Front. Therefore, هم يتربوا من البداية بيرضوا من سدى الأنظمة الموجودة في السلطة. فلو هم بيرضوا من سدى بالأنظمة الموجودة في السلطة ما كانوا أحزاب عندهم برنامج سياسي، كانوا أحزاب مطلبية. كانوا أحزاب مطلبية في السودان بطالبوا الجنوبيين يمثلون في حكومة مركزية بوزيرين وبثلاثة أربع وزراء، وده كان الأكبر وده كان موقفهم القائم. لكن ما كان عنده برنامج حكم في السودان. لهذا الأساس للأسف الكبير رئيس الفكير ميادين وجد ضالته فيهم بعد ما إنه سفينته فقد البوصلة، وقال لنا جماعة ديل هينجدوا وهيوفروا له حماية وهيحكم. لكن للأسف هؤلاء المجموعة الذين يسمون أنفسهم كبار أعيان الدينكا ليس لهم أي برنامج سياسي واضح، سواء كان في السودان القديم أو الآن في دولة جنوب السودان. لهذا كان علاقته مع سلفا كير إلى بتاع مصالح، ولم يكن يوما ما زواج كاثوليكي. لهذا الأساس وصل لنقطة، إذا صح العبارة، إنه وصل لنقطة بتاع انفصال. ليه؟ لأنه في مصالح مشتركة. ما تقولوا لي إن الجين كانسل أوف إلدرز كانوا هم بيدوا أدفايس للحكومة فري، وكان بيكونوا مصالح مادية، عندهم مصالح أخرى مع الحكومة، مع احترامي لهم كأشخاص. لكن للأسف الكبير قد يكون فقدوا المصالح ده. والرئيس الفكير نفسه هو طبعا زعيم ذكي، بالرغم من اختلاف معه، لكن ذكي ذكاء غريب، بيستخدم هؤلاء لمصالحهم. يعني هو بيمشي معاه لنقطة معين وفكر وبيشتغل مع الآخرين. الآن
نعم
معه في الجيم. فهؤلاء شعروا زي الطفل المفطوم دائما قبل بيبكي، يكون في طفل جديد بيحاول يسعى انه يرجع لامه. الان ده كله حركات التحديد للفكير ان هم مثلا يكون لهم دور. هم اصلا they never broken the silence. هم اصلا ما سكتوا عشان to break the silence. هم اصلا كانوا بيتكلموا الزمن ده كله. They were talking all this time. There's nothing new they have done. إذا صح البيان, if this declaration is correct as being claimed and also been rejected by one of their prominent members, which is Dr. Aldo Joe, then with my jurist individual, this is show really the confusion they are in. هما بيقولوا دائما قبل ما يقال إنه يعني ضبط النفس، عايزين يشوفوا الرياكشن هيكون شنو، واحتمال من وراء الكواليس الحكومة يكون قال لهم يعني يعملوا فيها ده ما وقته، ما وقت المناسب، فممكن إنه يسحبوا دعمهم إذا وجدوا مخصصاتهم وامتيازاتهم كان زمان هم بيلقوا. يعني للأسف الكبير هم الآن بيدعوا بيقولوا يا أخي نحن we are supporting the resolution
of national dialogue.
وهم بيقولوا we are not involving in politics. Their support itself to this the resolution of national dialogue, it shows exactly the trend of the support to this government or the trend of their involvement in politics. Because if you are not a political body or if you are not supporting somebody politically, why do you support that declaration if you are really not involved with that politics? This is the cement, the accusation of people of South Sudan, that people, they were really involved politically in political arena in South Sudan, and they have made a big damage to the country, particularly the social fabric of the country, and they will be held responsible of people of South Sudan, and by the people of Jing themselves. There was no silence being broken. They were there. They were there, they were talking, they were working behind the scenes, and we know that they have been working behind the scenes. And they have so many declarations that have been declared, and some of them that are accessible to all of us. But we are not stupid enough, the people of South Sudan, to come to tell us that, our role was very positive in politics of South Sudan. That was not true. The role was very destructive, the role was very negative, and people of South Sudan, they suffer a lot. Not only the non-Dinka tribe, even the Dinka tribe themselves. What was their role? What have they done to the Dinka themselves if they claim that they are representing Dinka? By the way, there is something also draw my attention in this declaration. The signing of the declaration, if we presume that this declaration was correct, what happened in Dinka Council of Elders? Is there a split? Where is the other heavyweight people, members of that Dinka Council of Elders? They did not sign because I have seen only 5 of them they signed. Where did the others? This is the question. But to answer your question, there was silence to be broken. They were there, they were active, and there's nothing new they have done. And I think I will stop here and I'll give a chance to others. Thank you.
Well, shukran, Ustaz Mading Maniel. And I like the way you phrase it. زواج كاثوليكي نعم ولم يكن زواجا كاثوليكيا زي ما انت قلت ومشاهدين بعض المشاهدين لا يفهمون ماذا يعني الزواج الكاثوليكي. الزواج الكاثوليكي in Catholic marriage there is no divorce whatsoever. Yeah, that's what it meant when 2 couples are married in Catholic faith, ما في divorce. So Jing Council of Elders, they thought they will never get divorced, with President Salva Kiir or the regime in Juba, which is that's not the case right now. And now it seemed like they are seeking more attention. So أنا أشكرك لإجابة على هذا السؤال، لكن احنا مستمرين بالنقطة دي طالما my other panelists are not here. I was going to go and give 10 minutes, but it seemed like they are running late. And since they are running late, no problem. I'm going to go ahead and continue with you with more questions. أنا عندي سؤال نمرة 2. أنا دايرك تساعد مشاهديننا من هم أعضاء مجلس أعيان جين كانسل وما هي أهدافهم هل هم يمثلون مجتمع جين يمثلون مجتمع دينكا لأنه we have been talking about this for the last 4 years here on the social media. Please take your time and give us a little bit about this. And also, أنا داير أكلم مشاهدينا يا جماعة, if you have that opportunity, go ahead and share our live broadcast so many can see it. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube at the same time. So if you are in Juba out there and you don't want people to see you, you are watching this show, you can go to Facebook, YouTube, just type John Kormayol or Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. You will be able to watch without, showing your identity. And those who are watching it, please go ahead and share it and refresh your device before you come here, because I saw that Ustaz Wundi Marial wanted to come, but it looked like the network is slower. Refresh your device before you get here so we cannot be thrown away from the live broadcast. Again, ممكن أنا أكرر لك سؤال ثاني. من هم أعضاء مجلس أعيان جين وما هي أهدافهم؟ هل يمثلون مجتمع دينكا؟ يمثلون مجتمع جين؟ تفضل أستاذ مدين.
شكرا جزيلا أستاذ جانكور again. بس also شوف زي ما أنا ذكرت إنه أعيان الدينكا هم مجموعة من سياسيين وبعض شخصيات من قبيلة الدينكا وهم بتاعت قبيلة الدينكا وهم بيدعوا إنهم بيمثلوا الدينكا. أولا أنا سمعت عنهم بعد مشاكل حصل in 2013 in South Sudan. They just sprang from nowhere and they started active politically or whatever they claim. أنا شخصيا ما لقيت بياناتهم ممهرة ببعض منهم وهم دائما كان عندهم كو شير بيرسون وكو شيرمانز وبعض أعضاء. هم جابوا ناس بعض سياسيين وشخصيات من كل بطون الدينكا وبعض بطون الدينكا لو ما كلهم. وبالحقيقة في ناس كتار من أبناء الدينكا أو غير الدينكا ما عارفين. في بعض سياسيين من أبناء الدينكا رفضوا يكونوا أعضاء في الجين كانسل اوف إلدرز. أنا ما أذكر أساميهم لكن في بعض من السياسيين أنا بعرفهم شخصيا وأنا سألت بعض منهم هم قالوا رفضوا لأنه قال عندهم إرث سياسي ما ممكن يخليهم إنه هم يمشوا يتعاملوا خارج إطار بتاع مؤسسات الدولة to influence the decision within the country. الأمر الفكير ما يدري with his government والسلفكير كرئيس شخصيا. الأمر السلفكير he weakens the all government institution or the all state institution including البرلمان والقضاء والجهاز التنفيذي. He made them redundant وأخذ الباورز في يده. سايق العربية بيركب معه وبيديه توصيات في وقت معين بيتعامل معه زي ما أنا قلت. He got these people that are the right people لما هو كان محتاج. فالجماعة دي برضه هم انتحازيين للدرجة ما تتخيل واذكياء برضه سياسيين لأن هم majority of them they were in politics in السودان. فركبوا القطر ده العربية الماشي وفي واحد سايق وما عارف سايق وماشي وين ركبوا فيه وادعوا انه هم ممكن ينغزوا وجاء لإنغاثه وجاء لإنغاث جنوب السودان. The reality is this: these people, there is no any Dinka group set somewhere elected them or selected them to represent Dinka. They are self-proclaimed leaders of Dinka people. I never saw their charter, constitution, internal regulation. شنو ما معروفين. هل أهدافهم اجتماعية، ثقافية، سياسية؟ إذا افترضنا إنهم جزء من العمل المدني when other stakeholders can help government لكن يكون برنامجهم واضحة. هو if they are social fabric or social body ممكن هم يتم تسجيلهم مع المجتمع المدني تنظيمات المجتمع المدني. ده أنا ما متأكد هل ده تم ولا لا. لو هم يبدأ political body من حقهم يسجلوا حزب سواء كان يسموه حزب دينكا أو يسموه حزب شنو ده في نهاية دستور الدولة بغيد نشاطاتهم. لكن للأسف هم موجودين وجودهم هل شرعي ولا لا. وللأسف الكبير غالبية أعضاء بتاع الجين كانسل أوف إلدرز هم أعضاء في برلمان في جنوب السودان وهم أعضاء برضه في حكومة جنوب السودان غالبيتهم. أنا سؤالي بطرحه لهم لو كان عندهم أفكار جيدة لإنغاز الحكومة ليه هم ما بيطرحوا أفكار كأفراد داخل البرلمان؟ لأن البرلمان بديك حق. البرلمان you can raise an emotion. ليه هم ما قاموا بدور زي ده داخل البرلمان؟ ولا لو كانوا وزراء ليه هم ما قاموا بدور زي ده إيجابي داخل مجلس الوزراء؟ بالرغم إنه هم جزء كبير منهم أعضاء في الحكومة. بهذا الأساس أنا في رأيي ده تحايل على الشعب بتاع جنوب السودان وتحايل على النظام واستغلال النفوذ لأغراض شخصية في ظل رئيس ضعيف ما عنده أي توجه سياسي ما عنده رؤية سياسية واضحة. وللأسف الرئيس نفسه كان بيتوقع منهم لأن أنا عارف في بعض الشخصيات داخل جين كانسل أوف إلدرز they are godfathers of سلفكير that is godfather fathers yeah. فسلفكير بيتوقع منهم الكثير لكن للأسف زي ما أنا قلت قبل من البداية إن جماعة ما كان عندهم برنامج حكم أصلا في السودان. فكيف اليوم يكون عندهم برنامج حكم لدولة جنوب السودان؟ أنا لما كنت في السودان زمان كنت بشوف حتى مرة كانوا أحزاب جنوبية مجموعة في معارضة لا يقدموا في برلمان أي ورقة بديل للميزانية. لما الحكومة قدم ميزانية جاء الأحزاب الجنوبية ما قدموا أي شيء. دائما أبدا بيطالبوا إننا هنا دايرين 3 وزراء ما دخلونا حكومة ولا هنحتاج وهنعمل وقت الميزانية كان بدهم ما كان في تنمية ولا غيره. لهذا الأساس I will emphasize on 3 things. Gen Council of Elders is an individual organization formed for the purpose to serve the individual interests. Second thing is not officially or legitimate body to represent people of Dinka or Gen tribes in general or all Gens. Therefore, their existence should not be taken for granted and should not be taken as a tool for punishment of the entire Dinka for the mistake being committed by individuals who are self-proclaimed and are seeking their own political agenda and their own personal benefits. This is the way I look into it.
Well, Ustaz Mading Manil, thank you. A very, very wonderful and right description exactly what happened between those two. Young Council of Elders, Salva Kiir Mayar. And many people, you know, they were mistaken long time ago when they were saying that, oh, Young Council of Elders is the one that driving country crazy, is driving Kiir. But Kiir has used them. Kiir بيستخدمهم وهم بيستخدموا كير لأجندتهم الخاصة. لأنه you know انت شرحت question واضحه جدا جدا. لو كان هم فعلا ناس شغالين لتنميه وعندهم برامج سياسيه, why are they not raising this question in parliament? And اغلبهم, most of them, they are member of parliament and they are not doing that. Then there's nothing there. Or if they are really representing the interests of the Jiang, why are they watching Apuk and Agwag are killing themselves, Luanjiang are killing themselves, you know, in Warabi state? Why are they seeing people in Rumbek are dying, you know, Lake state? Why are they seeing all these things in the country are happening and they are not? Yes, they are self-proclaimed. You describe it accurately. And as you said from the beginning, this is not a Catholic merit. ده ما زواج كاثوليكيا. لأنه ده كان مبني على شنو يعني thug life. I want to get this and I want to do this. I want to be smart. But you know what? قبل ما نتعشى بالفلان ويتغدى بيه. That's what happened exactly. And that's why we are in it. People of South Sudan need to know this. And that's why we are here to let them know what had happened and what needs to be done to get out من المأزق اللي احنا فيه ده. في سؤال مهم جدا جدا أنا داير أسألك عليه. لكن before I ask you that question, you know, before I ask you that question, actually I want to, I hope this thing will cooperate. I want to play a statement here by President Salva Kiir. I believe 3 days ago, his statement, President Kiir قالوا عشان كده نحن دايرين ناس South Sudanese عشان يسمعوا الستيتمنت ده. But before I go for that statement, كلام اللي هو قاله ده, خلينا أقول لك سؤال until thing can charge up and go here and we can move. We're still with the Jiang Council of Elders. أنا داير أقرأ الستيتمنت Jiang Council قالوا هنا. I want to quote them. يقال المجلس في بيان, وأنا داير أقتصب النقطة دي هنا. منذ تأسيسه كثف مجلس أعيان جين أنشطته في العام 2014 بعد انزلاق البلاد نحو أزمة سياسية. كان أملنا في ذلك الوقت أن نتمكن من إنقاذ البلاد من التجزئة. ده كلام بتاعهم هم قاعدين يقولوا. ده كلام اللي هم قالوا هم يا أخي وكدهم كون أنفسهم كان دايرين يطلعوا بلد من المأزق اللي فيه، بلد كان فيه حرب وما أعرف إيه وشنو ده كله. يبدو أن مجلس أعيان الدينكا هنا يزعمون بأنهم أشخاص لعبوا دورا إيجابيا ويصرون أنفسهم كمنغص للبلاد. هل عملوا حقا من أجل وحدة شعب جنوب السودان من خلال إنقاذ البلاد من العواقب الخطيرة للقضية والعنف والانقسام الحرب والتشرذم كما يدعون ما تعليقاتهم؟ أنا داير تعليقك في النقطة دي. هل الناس دي فعلا زي ما هم زعموا هنا إنهم كونوا أنفسهم في 2014 إحنا دايرين ننقذ البلد والبلد ماشي في تجزية والبلد في الخطر وما أعرف إيه، هل هم استطاعوا إن يجمعوا أبناء البلد ويطلعوا من المأزق اللي هم كان فيهم؟ تفضل يا أستاذ مدين.
والله شكرا جزيلا. السؤال ده عجيب وبخلي واحد يضحك لسبب واحد، for one reason.
نعم.
هو بذكرني أيام الإنغاذ في السودان. لما كانوا هو علماء السودان.
نعم.
المسلمين علماء السودان. لما بيدعوا إنهم واقفين مع الحكومة اللي عنه عشان البلد ما يتجزع ونجيب دورة إنغاذ ونعمل.
نعم.
الدور اللي هم بيحاولوا يلعبوا بشكل آخر. أنا قريت بيان. I read this declaration.
تفضل.
هم بيقولوا إن البلد من الانزلاق إلى
تفضل
مشاكل داخلية. هل صحيح البلد ده قدر ينقذوه من انزلاق إلى حرب؟ بل هم ساهموا وأججوا نيران الخلافات. وهذا من أكبر اخطاء هم ارتكبوها ولا زال كان في الذهن الجنوبيين، وهم لو ادعوا ده يكون كذب كاذب، كذب كبير. تقسيم بتاع الولايات جنوب لولايات ل 32 ولايه كانوا هم the driving force behind this. سواء كان التقسيم ده ايجابي وسلبي، لكن تم في اطار خارج اطار اطر بتاع مؤسسات الدوله. عارفين انه التقسيم اي ولايه او مراكز او محافظات في جهات تنفيذيه داخل الحكومه بيقوموا وبيرفعوا للجهات التشريعيه في الدوله، والجهات التشريعيه موافقه على ذلك، وبعد ذلك رئيس الجمهوريه يقوم موافق عليه. ده ما تم، وده واحد من اكبر اخطائهم ارتكبوها، وقسم المجتمع الجنوبي والنسيج الاجتماعي في جنوب السودان بهذا الاساس. فهم بيدعوا بعد ما هم وقفوا مع سلفا، ممكن يقول ان هنا انقذنا سلفا، ان حكومته ينهار، وده حقيقه ممكن اقول هم عملوها، لكن لم ينقذوا السياسه، لم ينقذوا الدوله جنوب السودان انه ما ينزل في حرب او
نعم.
الدوله كنا كجهه جغرافيه، لكن هنا منقسمين سياسيا واجتماعيا لأسوأ مرحله ما حصل في تاريخ جنوب السودان منذ ايام كنا بنحارب الاتراك لغايه اليوم. لم يكن هنالك اي كراهيه لهذه الدرجه بين ابناء الوطن الواحد زي ما حاصل الان عندنا في جنوب السودان، وهم السبب مباشر في انقسامات الحاصل، لانهم اخذوا اتجاه ما وكانوا بيعيدوا هذه الحكومه بالرغم ان الحكومه قايمه بانتهاكات ضد ابناء شعب جنوب السودان، بغض النظر الانتهاكات تم من اي طرف او في اي مكان ما. وانا برضه بلوم حتى بعض من القوى المعارضه المسلحه برضه شاركوا في هذه الانتهاكات بصوره او باخرى، وده حقيقه ما ممكن ينكر اي حد، لكن هم اجدوا نيران الخلاف داخل الدوله، لكن هم حموا نظام سلفا ميادين كاكزيست. وباي ذا واي كان ممكن يلعبوا دور ايجابي لما هم يقولوا الان نحن لعبنا دور ايجابي الان، او بيطالبوا الان او بيعيدوا الان مقررات بانه ممكن يفضل طريق لسلفا ورياض مشار يخرج من المسار السياسي او المشهد السياسي في جنوب السودان. ما ده كان ممكن يلعبوا في وقت ده من 2014 يطلبوا من الرجلين ديل انه يخرج من المسار السياسي في جنوب السودان، كان انقذ جنوب السودان وكنا في وضع افضل الان، كنا في مرحله من مراحل اخرى الان، كان ممكن نظام ديمقراطي او تحول ديمقراطي حقيقه، لكن هم مصلحتهم استمرار النظام. انا قريت لواحد من اعيان كبار اعيان الدينكا ومقال كتبه هو شخصيا، مش وما ممكن ينكره، انا ما في داعي اذكر اسمه، لكن كتب مقال انه الانتقالي الحالي ما ماشي بالطريقه المطلوب. Therefore he was requesting or highlighting that if there is chance for extension of this الفتره الانتقاليه، يعني استمراريه الحكومه بهذا الشكل ممكن تاني سنتين عشان بعد ذلك يتم تنفيذ اتفاق السلام، يعني استمرار سلفا في السلطه واستمرار وجودهم هم ويلعبوا من وراء الكواليس والمكتسبات الموجوده. لان انا متاكد لو جاء حكومه ديمقراطيه اخرى هيتعاملوا ما هيتعامل مع مجموعات قبليه او افراد وغيره. بهذا الاساس الكلام اللي هم بيدعوا انه هم انقذوا البلاد، لم ينقذوا البلاد. مفترض يقول هنا انقذنا حكومه سلفا وليس جنوب السودان، لان دوله جنوب السودان الان في تفكك. يعني انت شفت الان الوضع الامني في الولايات زي في وراء ستيت الكبرى وفي الليج ستيت الكبرى وفي الجونغليه الكبرى وفي بعض مناطق في على النيل الان، في مناطق الشمال على النيل شاهدنا في مناطق كمعبان في صراعات هناك الان، وعندك هنا في انسكيورتي موجود في كاتوريا في ريفا وبعض المناطق وفيها انقسام، وجود بعض تنظيمات الان ما هم كانوا سبب ذلك. بهذا ما هم يدعوا انهم انقذوا البلاد من التشرذم، هذا ليس صحيح. حكومه سلفا في بقاء السلطه، واللي بقاء السلطه الحكومه سلفا ليس لمصلحه الجنوب، كان لمصلحتهم. لو كان لمصلحه الجنوب ما كانوا اليوم رجعوا 180 درجه وطالبوا انه يتناحى سلفا ورياض مشار. ليه ما طالبوا بكلام ده من سنه 2014 انه يتناحى الرجلين ديل ويفتحوا طريق للعمل السياسي او تحول ديمقراطي في جنوب السودان، ويجي احزاب اخرى او حتى الحركه الشعبيه، حزب الحركه الشعبيه يجي بصوب اخر ويطرح برنامج آخر للشعب بتاع جنوب السودان يخليه من الاستمرار في الحكم. بهذا الأساس ده هراء وده كلام ما فيه أي منطق ومجرد بس يعني تحايل على الشعب بتاع جنوب السودان وتحايل سياسي و it's just political opportunism. It's nothing much than that. It's political opportunism. عايزين يعيدوا أنفسهم زي ما شفت الثعبان لما نيجي مرحلة من المراحل بغير جلده، لأنه في كل موسم بغير جلده، وهم بيحاولوا الآن يغيروا جلودهم على أساس يقبلون بشكل آخر، لكن هم نفس الناس ونفس الأدوار ونفس الدور من إذا كانوا في السودان القديم إلى اليوم. شكرا.
أستاذ مدين منيل, thank you so much. أنا أشكرك لإجابتك للسؤال ده. I would like to welcome dear brother Wendy Marial and Chairman Wal Dengatak to studio as well. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. كنا نتمنى إنه تيجوا a little earlier لكن ظروف ما معروفة. Before we proceed, زي ما أنا قلت قبل, there is a lot of new development in the country. Although Ajo now is denying the statement, the press released by the Gen Council of Elders, and also President Kiir is making a very, very weird statement. A statement that actually is making me going back to 2018 when we make a very credible show with a medical doctor, Mawuna Kot, in 2018. I believe it was in summer. And we talk about the mental stability of the president. And that's actually president as unstable mentally because they can make all kind of, a statement going. So I question you, how mentally president is fit to lead the nation, because we are all aware that when he became president, he took the oath of the office that actually is going to protect the integrity of the country, the property, the constitution, and the citizen of the country. But for the president to come out and say that, oh, when you fight, I don't have to worry about you. I'm not going to send an army. I'm not going to send a police. I'm going to surround by myself with the small army that I have. And you guys fight. Whoever been defeated, it will run into me to Juba. And then after that, I can defend him. I don't know what kind of statement is that. I'm so shocked. I am saying to myself, is like a retarded person, saying things randomly. So I want to play that statement to you, gentlemen, and to our viewers so they can hear this statement as well. So please, let's go ahead and listen, and then we'll move on.
شوية جاي بتاعي أنا بجيبه جنبي نقدر نفسي بيجي دول بوليس ونشوف يكون بيجي من وين أي زول البطرودو بعدين إنه يجري ياو بيجيني هنا ده. So I have decided that إنه أي شكل تاني ما بودي فوق ولا عسكري ولا بوليس بخليكم تشاكل لكاد ما one section يجري من تاني لو من تجري من زول كان بيشاكل معك وتجي هنا ده انا بجي بساعدك انا بدافع عنك وبعدك ما تتكلم ثاني كراجل.
Chaben Bear. Gentlemen, I want to give all of you guys 5 minutes to respond to that. So let me start with you, Ustaz Woldeng Attack. Your reaction to that statement. Let me go ahead and unmute you.
Awesome, thank you. In fact, the audience, I would like to say thank you for tuning with us. And in fact, President Salva Kiir has forgotten one thing, that he has already surrounded himself with the only army that he has, the Tiger. Mafi Jai Fidola. That is saying that he can surround himself any more than that. Someone referred to him as a mayor of Juba, and that correctly so, because he's only in control of Juba, not anywhere else. And again, this is typical of the President Salva Kiir and his group, and it represents the values the government of South Sudan under the SPLA represented. And I'm saying this because from the beginning, the focus has been Juba and the ministers. The focus has been them to get clean drinking water, clean water to shower, electricity 24/7, where the vast majority of the South Sudanese do not have the access to this. I remember they would shatter themselves out for medical treatment, including treating flu in Nairobi, in Kenya, Uganda, and so forth, where the Sudanese or the South Sudanese do not have access to Medicare or to medical services that the country deserve to have had. And they find comfort to claim that South Sudan is a young nation, so it cannot work overnight, whereas they have the muscle to create war and havoc. What kind of a baby that have muscle to kill? If you use that energy that has been misused and directed to the destruction of the South Sudan, then South Sudan will be developed. Sud Institute, for example, being an institution that was found after the South Sudan became an independent, recently has been rated among the top 50 institutions of the world. That actually tells us that a young baby called South Sudan can even do better than what we have, because the rest of the world or the nations that are neighboring us have made mistakes that are obvious to us, that we have seen, which we can steer away from and give us an opportunity to make decisions on an informed, or on an informed basis. But unfortunately, the government we have in Juba think of not anybody but to himself, but not what they can do for their countries, but what they can benefit. If I can borrow that American president said that, we once say that, think not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Yes.
They are not thinking of what they can do for South Sudan, but what can they benefit from South Sudan? And that's why the millions of dollars are taken out of the country, build schools outside South Sudan, invest in Dubai, in Nairobi, buy houses for rental and investment, invest in gold in South Africa and banking system. All these tell us our leaders that represent South Sudan today do not have South Sudan at heart. The President Salva Kiir is, in conclusion, is exhausted to begin with. That hero we had, that man who sacrificed himself for the betterment of South Sudan, is exhausted and is not only thinking straight, and is not of any effect to the South Sudan political arena. The best thing to do for him is to bow out. I know he relies on the people who care nothing about his power, but about their benefits. They don't care about anything about South Sudan, but what they get from South Sudan. And these are the people who also scare everybody around. Lastly, Salva Kiir is not advised by his team. He doesn't have a media team that advise, help him to rehearse what the message is, understand the context of the function that he's going to. He's just speaking out of his mind, unprepared, and he's exhausted old man, who should actually be at home and only be sought after for maybe advice as a statement. But unfortunately, he has lost it. He has lost so much now, to the extent that even when he goes home, trust you me, he would nearly lose the respect that people had for him. However, he has little to rescue now by listening to the voices of the South Sudanese through the national dialogue, and said, enough is enough, let me quit for the better of the country, for the better of himself and his family and his legacy to begin with. I will stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ustaz Walatak, for your insight. Let me go ahead. I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry. So thank you for that, statement. Wendy Marial, I want to get your insight on that, and then I will move with to Ustaz Mading Maniel, and then we start doing the routine thing with our questioning on this topic tonight. Fadal. Oh, give me one moment. It looked like, yes. Go ahead.
السلام عليكم سامعيني؟
Yes, clear.
اوكي السلام عليكم بحييكم باسم الجمهورية الثانية، جمهورية السلام والأمن والاستقرار والحرية. أنا كلام الرئيس ده امبارح قاعد يزعلني ومرات بضحك يعني للمرحلة القيادة بتاع جوبا وصل فيه. أنا بس داير أقول لك إنه الحرب الحاصل في تونج ده يعني هو ترجمة للكلام بتاعه، إنه حوالي 25,000 نفر عملوا بيجوا ديسبليس، يعني ما عندهم مأوى ولا مأكل ولا مشرب، بيجوا عايشين في غابة وبياكلوا الأصباغ بتاع الأشجار، وهم بيقولوا إنه المجتمع كله بيجي ضد بعض في تونج. ده حاجة مؤسف شديد، ولما تجي تقارن اللي قاعد يحصل ده بالمستوى بتاع خطاب رئيس الجمهورية، إنه حيخلي زول يشبع بالحرب، النفرين اللي حيفضلوا اللي ما قتلوهم ديل كان جرهم عندي انا بدي لهم الحمايه، وتاني ما بيتكلم كراجل. اوكي، ده مستوى بتاع خطاب ما ممكن يطلع من رئيس جمهوريه ومحرر في نفس الوقت، يعني ده حاجه مؤسف شديد يعني. وده بيقود للسؤال اللي انت طرحته، هل الرئيس فعلا is mentally well like is he's okay، والحاصل له شنو يعني في الكلام ده، لانه الكلام ده بيترجم لملغم.
نعم.
فمثلا المجتمعات القويه في جونجولا فور اكزامبل ما ممكن يستفيدوا من كلام سيلفا كير ده. ممكن ينفذوا مجازر، والزول اللي بيجري النفر الوحيد اللي بيجري لسيلفا كير ده يا هو اللي بيقدر يفوض الحمايه. وده كله لما تجي تترجمه هو تشجيع للفوضى في البلد، انه اي مجتمع لو بقى قوي يهاجم اي مجتمع ثاني وهكذا. والكلام ده سياسه منسقه، يعني قاعدين في جوبا وهم ما عارفين قاعد يحصل في باقي المناطق. فالكلام ده دار لي ادانه شديد، يعني ما ممكن نقبله باي شكل من الاشكال. ما خطاب بتاع الرئيس وهو قاعد يصالح في ناسه، ومفروض يكون مستواه اعلى من كده كثير. انا ما اعرف اللي بيكتبوا له الخطاب ده ما بده دايركشن انه المفروض تقول كده وكده، يجي يقطع كلام من راسه ساكت. حاجه مؤسف والله، حاجه مؤسف شديد. فده بيوري انه الحكومه افلس، بقى ما عنده اي اطروحات، بقى ما عنده اي برنامج، بقى ما داير يفهم ذاته ليه المجتمع ده بيشاكل كل يوم، ليه المجتمع ده بقى لاجئ، ليه المجتمع ده مهدد بمجاعات. حسب التقرير بتاع UN حوالي كنا السنه الفار كان حوالي 6 مليون، هسه داخلين ل 8 مليون نسمه دايرين لهم اعانه بالجوع والامراض والكلام الكثير ده، وهو لسه بيشجع في الفوضى ده. فكلام ده مؤسف. انا غايته ما بعلق فيه كثير، لكن حاجه مؤسف شديد يعني بندينه.
Thank you, Wendy Marial, for answering that, giving your insight on that statement by the president. أستاذ مدين منيل، ما حصل سميت كلام زي ده في الدنيا مما ربنا خلقني، إنه رئيس دولة يقول أمشي شاكله، go and fight among yourself. Whoever been defeated will run and then seek the protection. أمشي شاكله ويجرجروا بيال بنسوان بكل ده كله. What do you make of that, my dear brother? What do you make of that? Fadal.
Thank you very much, Jankur, and our viewers where are. In fact, as you have mentioned, this is the weirdest statement ever I heard from a head of state since the beginning of this 21st century. For the last 20 years, this is the weirdest statement ever a head of state had released. First of all, let me highlight very few things. Kirmaya he made us or himself to be a loving star, releasing such statements. And by the way, Father the Shelayati, he got nothing to offer. He got nothing to offer. And also the worst part of this, there's a big lie there. Although if you look deeply into his statement, since when Kirmaya used to rescue people of South Sudan by sending organized forces to rescue them? Since when? These people have been fighting all this time. Nobody even bothered about them. In reality, these people are killing themselves because there is there is no government of people in South Sudan. This is government of particular political elites who are running the government, protecting themselves. The army he's talking about, or the police is talking about, there's no national army. There are militias. There's no national organized forces. Majority are militias, or they give their allegiance to himself as a president. عشان كده بقول ده الجيش بتاعي وبوليس بتاعي.
Correct.
بيقول like دولة بقول أنا ده الجيش بتاعي بوليس بتاعي، ده المفروض يكون بوليس وجيش بتاع دولة. ونحن عارفين في الدستور دور بتاع الجيش لحماية تراث الوطن، ولو ضاع الدور بتاع الاستقرار داخل البلد ممكن نحن نستخدمه أو الدولة يستخدمه في حدود معين عشان يوفر الأمن والاستقرار ويساعد هذا organized forces مثل الشرطة أو غيره. لكن للأسف الجيش الموجود عنده ده أصلا لحمايته، لأنه الحركة الشعبية الجيش الشعبي the mighty SPLA is totally been destroyed by Kir Mayadit. He replaced him by militias. الآن بتلقى حتى الضباط كبار في الجيش الشعبي وغيره قاعدين في بلفا ما عندهم even assignment. بتلقى الآن من شيل 1 شيل 2 شيل 3 ما عندهم أي دور إيجابي. الآن who is driving the country الميليشيات. الميليشيات هو جابهم، مكونات الميليشيات هو جابهم. خطته طبعا انه to destroy the SPLA, to replace it with the militia which are really loyal to him, not loyal to the country. عشان كده from his statement you can really read out from his statement, this man, he got nothing to offer. By the way, this is what we have displayed now is not the whole tab. There are things, I will highlight one of the things which was part of that tab. One of his very close ally, and he's one of his comrades in the struggle, Dr. James Wanigat, one of the vice president, he spoke before Kir, President Kir. What he said, James Wanigat mentioned that there are some politicians in Juba or in federal government, they are behind supporting this clan and fighting among the tribal setup of the country.
Communal conflict.
Yeah, or communal violence. And he said this is not good and we should not do that and we should be responsible as politicians. When Kir came on his speech, if he attacked his comrade in the struggle, he said, even James Waniga, he mentioned about tribalism and all. What happened to my cows in Equatoria? I had 700 cows and I was just away from Equatoria. I took my cows to my hometown, the Muscat Rasu, these 700, وقال I took them في توج. كان في محاولة من بعض أبناء نوير عشان يسرقوا أبقاري ديل. فقال I moved them لمنطقة بتاع واو. قال للأسف there was a flooding ومعظم أبقار ديل ماتوا وده كله عشان الحاصل منكم ده الترايباليزم ده طردوا أبقار بتاعي من إكواتوريا. الشيء المضحك هو كيف بيبكي في واو وما بيبكي على الناس اللي بيموتوا في جوغريال وفي تور جونغلي ومحلات تانية ده ولا بيجيب خبرهم. تخيل الرئيس ده وصل لهذه الدرجة. He is crying because of his livestock he lost. And he never give a damn to the citizens of South Sudan working even in his own state. He never even mentioned them. He never even give a 1 minute silent to the victims who lost their life and lost their livelihood, and now they're displaced in their own areas and their own villages. And he is talking about his livestock, which are being lost due to the flooding in war area. This really shows the incapacity, the mental incapacity on this gentleman. He is not there really to address issues of South Sudan, and he will protect himself. But one thing is that let him surround himself with his army in Juba, and let those people fight until they reach Juba. That will be good. When they reach Juba, that'll be another story. Thank you.
Thank you. That's yes, mental capacity and also mental stability. And we said this in 2018 because I wonder when President made this statement. But Anna Salva-Kiir, actually, I wrote him long time ago, 2012. He referred to us, he's not a leader. From 2005 all the way 2011, and عملنا referendum. I supported him, and I could say, let's go together. But after 2011 and 2012, all the incidents happening. Then 2005, 9, all this. Dash and then transition. Everything will be fixed when he take the oath. Okay, تذكروا زمان قال يا أخي أي زول corrupt will not have space in my government. أنتم مذكرين كلام ده؟ أنا قلت wow, this is a good thing. This is a good beginning. شفت؟ لكن لو كجا start breaking away, loot, ناس بتسرق بجاي ناس بيقتلوا بجاي and he's not doing anything. I said no, that's not the guy. He's anti-values, values of justice and liberty and prosperity. Now, my question is to our people. Ustaz Mading Manyel and Ustaz Wundi Marial and Ustaz Wolakot, we are still have people who are complicit, despite the fact that President Kiir actually situation without got deteriorated. Okay, is worsening every time. Fil Hukum, there is no deliberation of anything, mismanagement, corruption, insecurity, and all sort of bad thing that we talk about in United Citizens for Change. Okay? But yet there are people who are supporting it. There are people who don't want to open their eyes and open their hearts and their mind. There are people who are supporting without mental conviction. I want your message, and then we'll go back to Young Council of Elders. Your message to them, can I show 16 sana, nothing. 16 sana, no school, no road, no clean water, no hospital. 16 sana injustice, 16 sana insecurity, all these things. And yet people are supporting him with no mental conviction. They are still. Message bitak gentlemen, just 3 minutes, and then we'll go back to this. Ustaz Wal, I start with you.
Good. Thank you very much, Ustaz Jankor. I don't know what's happened, whether you see me fully in the camera.
Yeah, I want you to move just a little bit to the left.
To the left.
Even me, I can't see the other guests here in my.
You can see? Yeah, you are clear. You?
No, I can see you, but I can't see Wall and the other guests.
How about now?
Okay, let me do it. Now, do you see like this?
I'm seeing you, but I can't see Wall.
Wow.
I see all of you and everything is okay.
Okay, it's all right. I download the new app. It could be the reason.
Yeah, we'll go ahead.
All right. I begin with a song of one of our South Sudanese who sang a love song, saying that his heart is as writhing and struggling as the South Sudan, which is dying because they cannot speak it. If you speak it, you die. You keep quiet, you writhe inside you and feel the pain of the destruction that you are seeing. Fellow South Sudanese, I would think they are not with Salva Kiir. Some of them are simply afraid of their life. And second to it, this fear, actually, to break it further before I go ahead, the fear of their lives is divided into two ranks or so. One is the propaganda by the regime that made certain quarter of the society feel that they are threatened by the others. And only survivals exist only if Salva Kiir remains in power. And the evil the Salva Kiir is doing, they feel it is less to the threat that they had been made to understand that they are in greater danger as a community. They are sticking with Salva Kiir when they hear some voices, and truly so, there are some voices outside on the internet, on the social media, that are not sensible enough to understand the real situation the country is in, and they start attacking individuals' ethnicity rather than the problem. The problem in Juba is the government of South Sudan that is causing the bad governance, but they're not seeing it. And when they attack, they turn in one way or another to play into the tune and the plans or the script of J1, creating the fear in others. Number two is the fact that the institution that is supposed to gather information, analyze it, and make recommendation to the executive for decisions. I've taken all this into itself. Identify whom they think is a threat to themselves, to the government, or to Salva Kiir as a government. Arrest him, detain him, kill him, or kill her. Recently, the talk of rape. So that itself is tormenting the citizens, that fear. But there's a bigger courage to go into that. That's what I will tell my fellow citizens. Whether we are killed now, arrested, or detained, or tortured, there's one thing that we may need to remember. All of us, in one way or another, at a certain point of life, we will die.
Correct.
But one important thing that we should remember always is what legacy have we left behind? The legacy that we left behind, what means or tied to what we stand for. Our South Sudan is a country that we found when God opened our eyes through the natural birth and we grow up into it, become part of it. We have a responsibility in it, a responsibility to leave it better place than when we found it when we were born. We have moral obligations to embrace the harshness the regime is putting in front of us just for it to remain in power. Let's forget for a moment about us. When I say about us, forget about the division being sowed in us. And let's think for a moment what South Sudan we want to leave behind us. What South Sudan we want to leave for our children. We want a democratic, free, fair South Sudan. When we have such things, it needs sacrifice. It requires unity of all the ethnicities. Think what unites us, if I would borrow the Nyerere statement in Ghana, but what unites us are more than what could divide us. So let's think about those things as South Sudanese and leave aside the tribes, the political affiliations, but put South Sudan first. And first, South Sudan first is by uniting and moving forward toward a collective actions as a citizen of South Sudan. Last but not the least, my fellow countrymen, remember a moment, the moment we sit and take no action and bring to the account the individuals that are causing havoc to our country, we are playing part indirectly. We are aiding it. Let's now think a moment and unite as a citizen of South Sudan, irrespective of what it is. Someone may be thinking, why are you always on the Facebook? Gentlemen, information is power. We are rallying our forces together, and within no long time, we would be together in the field and changing the bad governance and rebuilding the South Sudan for the better. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ustaz Wal. Wundi Marial, and then I go to Ustaz Mading Maniel, and then I will bring other group, and then you guys can go, and then I can continue. Go ahead, Wundi Marial.
هو سؤال كويس جدا، ويمكن في ناس كتار بيسألوا نفسهم نفس الجواب، يعني حتى الناس الداعمين للحكومة. طبعا لما تدعم الحكومة بيكون يا انت مرتبط بأيديولوجيا معين او مرتبط بمصلحة مع النظام، او انت اصلا ما شايف الصورة حقيقية، الصورة الكاملة يعني. وفي ناس بيخافوا من التغيير ذاته. والتغيير بالنسبه لي هو تاريخ، يعني ما بتقدر تعيش بدون تغيير. otherwise انت بتتجمد وما بتتطور ذاته. فالناس دي اللي نحن بنعذرهم، في ناس عندهم طابع قبلي، والكلام ده هو ما عيب، لكن هو بس المفروض يفهم انه مصلحته العليا في المدرسه، في الامن، وفي انه يكون فخور ببلده وانه يكون حر فيه. ده الحاجات المفروض هو اي زول بيدعم الحكومه يفكر في الحاجات ده. انت كان تشوف مثلا التقارير قاعد يطلع كل يوم في الناس UN والحكومه والحاجات العمليه اللي قاعد تحصل، انه الناس بتتشرد كل يوم، الناس بتطلع من الجنوب كل يوم بحثا عن الامن والاستقرار في دول الجوار. كلها دي حاجات بيأكد انه انت كان بتدعم الحكومه ده، بتدعمه عشان المواطنين يتشردوا، بتدعمه عشان الحروب القبليه تستمر، بتدعمه عشان انه اولاد عمك او اولاد اخوك او المجتمع بتاعك ما يكون عندهم مدرسه ولا مستشفى. ده الكلام المفروض اي زول بيدعم الحكومه يزعل نفسه. ليه الحكومه ده يعني بالنسبه البترول الموجود في بلدنا ده، وبالنسبه الضرائب الموجود والثروات الموجوده زي الذهب في اكواتوريا، في زول استفاد منه؟ ما في زول استفاد منه. اللي استفاد منه هو نخبه الفنادق، واللي هم مرتبطين ارتباط وثيق بمصالحهم مع جيوان. ديل الناس اللي بيساندوا النظام ده، لكن هم ما كتار، ما كتار. ممكن النسبه بتاعهم زاد يكون اقل من 10%، وكلهم ما بيساندوا الحكومه. في دائره معين بيساند الحكومه ده. واي زول هسه في جنوب السودان بقى مقتنع تماما انه الحكومه ده ما بيقدر يقدم له اي حاجه، لا الامن لا الاستقرار لا اي يعني فكره جديده اللي يقدر المواطن يستفيد به، ما بيقدر يقدم الكلام ده. فانا بنادي ناس الحكومه بالذات المثقفين منهم انه يا جماعه ما تدعموا نظام يعني معتمد على القمع والفساد. ما تعتبروا. في واحد سالني قبل كم يوم هو من مؤيدين الحكومه، قال لي انتوا ليه بتعارضوا الحكومه كل يوم؟ قلنا له يا اخي كده القيادات بتاع الحركه اللي سرقوا القروش ده في زول يحاكموا فيه؟ ما في زول حاكمه. القروش ده هسه في الشرع عمارات في استراليا هنا ودول الجوار. في زول ساله قال لي لا. قلت لهم طيب الحزب ما عاقبهم والدوله ما عاقبهم، تفتكر المشكله وين؟ المشكله في الرئيس. الرئيس اللي ما قادر يفرض القانون ولا قادر يفرض الامن ولا قادر يعمل اي حاجه. هو قروش الشعب سرقوا من سرقوا النخبه بتاع الحركه الشعبيه دي ما بيرجع الا الفقير ده يضغط، وبعد ذاك الشعب عنده حق يطالب ويطالب المجتمع الدولي انه القروش اي قروش السرق في الخزينه بتاع الدوله لازم يرجعوه بالمحاكم باي حاجه ثانيه. ده الحته الوحيده اللي ممكن العداله يتحقق فيه الا النظام ده يظهر. لكن كان الفقير موجود في الحكم ما في عداله، قروشكم اللي سرقوه ما هيجيبوا ثاني، والفساد هيستمر. حتى زي انا مثلا انا من روين، بلدي يمكن يكون نسبه 60% من نفط الخام بيطلع منه. انا ما مستفيدين منه اي حاجه. لا طريق لا كهرباء، فاري ده ما فيه اي نور. العاصمه بتاع روين، وانت لما تمشي المجمع بتاع النفط بتلقاه مولع كله كانك في نيويورك. اوكي طيب العداله وين هنا؟ الحكومه اللي ما بينزل للمستوى بتاع دخل الاسره، مستوى امن الاسره، مستوى تعليم الاسره. الحكومه دي بينفع يقود بلد يا جماعه في القرن ده؟ ما بيقدر يقود بلد. فناس الحكومه احنا بنعذرهم، ويمكن يكونوا هم ما شايفين الصوره صح، لكن انت ممكن تشوف الحقائق زي التقارير بيطلع من ناس UN ده فيه حقيقه للحكومه. الكلام اللي بيقولوا ناس المعارضه برضه هي الواجهه للمشاكل الموجوده في البلد. ما في عداله بيتحقق في جنوب السودان، وما في حيكون في استقرار ولا امن ولا رخاء ولا حريه الا كيس الفقير ده يطلع من الحكومه. وهو حيزغط بالمرض ولا بثوره شعبيه ولا باي مصيبه زمن، هو حيزغط. فانا بقول لكم يا جماعه ضموا صوتكم لنا نغيره بالتغيير السلمي، لانه ديسمانجمنت وكوربشن والحروب ما حيجيب طالما النظام ده هو قائم على المنهج ده. ان احنا لازم نغير المنهج عشان نعيش كاخوان، عشان نعيش كامه، ونقدر نتداخل ونبني بلدنا بالسلام والامن والاستقرار.
اكيد اشكرك استاذ وندي مريال. نعم، لما يكون في مرض، لما يكون في عدوى ده خطر على المجتمع كله، لانه حكومه كير هي عدوى there is no any other pandemic, you know, ما في pandemic تاني في جنوب السودان لأن الجنوبيين ناس كان جو مع بعض. They fought together, they marched together, they worked together, ماشي بيلفم together. ما قالوا ده ياخذوا توكا وده باندا وده ناي. They went together and they fought together. But now we have a pandemic. Their system, their regime,
COVID-19.
Yeah, and that's why we have to find cure for it. And cure for it is to go away, just to get it and clean the house, you know, and make it really, really clean. عشان يكون fit for all South Sudanese, for all different walk of life. That's what required. لأن اللي في زول بيرفض إنه يكون في عدالة إلا إذا كان زول you know ما راسه ما كويس. And President Kiir has proven again, over and over and again, you know, he is the disease of this country. He is the problem of this country.
والله هو والله يا جونكور في اي مناسبه اي تصريح بيطلع منه هو بيكون عكس التوقعات دائما عكس التوقعات، وبيحطم كله جهد الناس معينين عملوه عشان الناس تقدر تستغير، بيجي بيحطموا زي التصريح الاخير ده. يعني تصريح والله يعني مفجع بالمعنى. يعني
ما انا قلت لك الانسان هو ما داير يكون في togetherness, ما داير unity. They survive when people are scattered, when people are divided. We have seen that over and over in the country. لما الناس مجتمعات تشاكل مع بعض يخلق مشكلين ويخلق مشكلين زي ما قال لنا قصه بتاع الكوره، قال انت تجري من الكوره ليه انت ناس غراب يعني go and fight.
Yep.
Fight. So he divide so he can survive. But our people need to understand that. هنا ما يعني ما عشان بس نجي نكورك ونتكلم كل يوم في السوشيال ميديا وفي ايه. This is a mean of communication, to communicate the message to you, to understand something that you don't understand. That's why we are here. Ustaz Mading Maniel, I'm going to go for you as well. عشان نسمع منك and then we move on. And then after that I can give you to break Ustaz Wundi Marial Ustaz Mading Maniel, and then I'm going to go with Wol عشان نسأله لأنه جبال أنا ما سأله كلام ده جين كان elders what they mean by this statement. So Ustaz Mading Maniel, please, podium is yours. تفضل. I can repeat the question if you forget. Because we talk a lot.
Yeah, it's a weed. What is happening, in fact, I will start with historical story by a Frenchman who was very loyal to Napoleon. And now more people use this chiffonnier. Chiffon was in the French army of Napoleon. He was just a soldier. He was wounded 9 times in the battlefield. Every time when he's wounded, taken to hospital, his wounds are cured. The first question he will ask, where is my gun? They told him, your gun is there. Is Napoleon still there? Yes, I'm going to defend him. They told him, man, you are too exhausted. You have been wounded several times, saying, as long as Napoleon is there, I'm ready to die. It's exactly what is happening in South Sudan. في شوفينيين في جنوب السودان مستعدين يدافعوا عن كير ميادين لآخر رمقلين. They don't care في دولة اسمها جنوب السودان ولا ما في دولة اسمها. As long كير ميادين موجود, they're going to defend him. وده شيء موجود في أنظمة بتاعت الحكم بتاعت الرجل الواحد الموجود عندنا في جنوب السودان. There will be some loyalists.
Ustaz Mading, people are asking me to ask you to get closer to the camera.
Okay.
Yeah, they have been asking for a very long time. Okay.
And then these people, they will be there for time being, and they will defend this regime because they have their own interests. And most of our people don't really realize is that government in Juba, it divides South Sudan into 2. Those who claim to be the government and those who are not government, the citizens. And they create impression to this citizen that the resources of the country belong to the government, which are the clique and the elites who are ruling in Juba. You don't ask about the resources that belong to government. we'll have you to do your own things. امشي في مزرعة بتاعك ورا بقر بتاعك تعمل شنو تعيش. Because 95% of people of South Sudan ما بياخذ رواتب من الحكومة ولا بياخذ أي خدمات من الحكومة. That's the civil servant in South Sudan that maybe they may even be less than 5% of the population of South Sudan. They're not الحكومة consider them. ما أنت الليلة لما تشعر بالظلم is when the government it connects with the people. But this government purposely it disconnects himself from the people of South Sudan for the sake that the people should not ask the government and people should not know their rights and duties. And now this government is trying to tell the people whatever the resources we have in the country that belong to the government. عشان كده لو زادوا رغيف في السوق زادوا شوال بتاع دقيق في السوق زادوا بنزين جيلون بتاع بنزين في السوق nobody bother because they got nothing, they got no connection with the government. شوف اللي حصل في السودان, what happened in Sudan. لما زادوا رغيف لما زادوا بنزين الشعب طلع في الشارع. في مصر لما زادوا رغيف الشعب طلع في الشارع. And they changed the government because there's a link and correlation between the government and the people. And they reflect itself the way the people behave and the way the government is feeding the people. One thing, have you ever one day seen President Kiir much of the television to address economic issues of the country? I never ever seen him one day much of the television and address economic issues. And there's no any government in the world without any economic policies. That's the main core of the government, and the survival of the government is based on the economy of the country. He never talk about these issues because he knows very well if he tell the people the truth, والناس اللي يعرف حقوقهم من في الدولة الجماعة دي ممكن يصوروا ممكن ينتفضوا. لهذا أساس deliberately شغالين to keep these people away or disconnect them from the service of the government and to create that impression in the government is those ruling elites in Juba. عشان كده الآن when a minister, for example, if you go to Juba and you visit the minister in his house and he gives you some money, you are very excited إنه الوزير ده ساعدك. لكن أنت ما بتسأل نفسك القروش اللي بديك له ده قروشك ذاته. This is your own money. He took them as the government is giving you as individual. And by the way, one of the big problems which we face now, we ما قادرين أو نحن ما قادرين نستوعبه هو مشكلة التوزيع الثروة في الدولة. Distribution of wealth in the country. Distribution of the wealth, the people of South Sudan are being denied from their wealth to enjoy their wealth and prosperity. For the reason why, if these people are given all these rights, it means that the government in Juba is going to lose and the looting is going to stop. But the best way is that these people should be kept in darkness and they will not have anything until whatever happened in South Sudan later after another 20 years or 30 years. Distribution of wealth, what does it mean? لما يكون في طرق في الصحة في التعليم في كل إمكانيات مياه شرب وكل شيء موجود لأي مواطن في أي قرية ده بخلي الإنسان الليلة يشعر هو جزء من حكومة وحكومة دي شغالة لمصلحته. ممكن يستخدم طريق ده to take his product to the market وممكن يعيشه ويعول عياله أو أسرته. ده كله ما موجود الآن. لهذا أساس if there is no distribution of wealth wealth all are there in the hands of the individual in Juba ما حيكون في استقرار سياسي في البلد وفي كل وقت أنا نكون عايشين في الدوامة ده. لأنه عدم استقرار الاقتصادي eventually will create عدم استقرار السياسي في البلد ويخلق نعارات وكراهية. والأسوأ من ذلك إنه بعد حالنا من الدينكا وبالشكل بتاع ده too emotional حكومتنا والناس بيلعبوا ورا الكواليس the Gen Council of Elders is creating this impression you depend this government because it belongs to you. لو كير مشى you're gone you دينكا. ده كلام ما صحيح. This impression خلى الناس يدافعوا عن كير لآخر مرحلة من المراحل بالرغم حتى الزول متضرر من حكومة كير بيلقى نفسه because he's a Dinka man he should protect this government. لكن انت لو سألت نفسك وسؤال بسيط جدا ولا اخواننا موجودين في البلد في جوبا بالذات كذلك بشوارع جوا بشو هوتيلات ده منو بشهد قدام هوتيلات ده نسوان تدينكا ويا تدينكا إذا كانت الحكومة ده حكومة تدينكا كيف حكومة يكون حقك وأنت بتشهد في الشارع؟ يالكم بيشهد في الشارع نسوانكم بيشهد في شوارع جوا and still also you claim this government is belong to you. This will continue for time being until our people are enlightened and they know their rights. تخويف بتاع الناس جزء من المشكلة أساسا. القبضة الحديدية عن أجهزة الأمن بتاع الدولة اللي هو ضد الشعب ده واحد من حقائق، لكن في سلاح واحد. This government fear سلاح واحد بس، مش زول بيرفع سلاح ويمشي غابة ويجي يشكله. ده ما حيقدر يجيله لأنه ده حصل وهو مبسوط لأنه عنده سلاح وعنده بترول ممكن يجيب سلاح يحاربه وممكن يجيب ميليشيات وممكن يجيب مرتزقة حتى يحاربه. ده ما مشكلته. سلاح واحد بخاف منه الحكومة ده وما عنده حل لغاية الآن هو الشارع. الشارع بتاع الجنوب ده يوم حيطلع الشارع هم كير وجماعته ما عندهم حل نهائيا.
نعم.
لأنه هم حيكون في مأزق حقيقي. هذا هيقتل عزل من السلاح ديل. الديمونستريتورز they will kill them unarmed civilians or what are they going to do؟ للأسف والآخر كلاما حقوله إنه ما يدعو نظامه الآن عايشين في عهد بتاع لويس الرابع العشر وكان ملك بتاع لما
قبل اعدام لويس.
ايوه لما مير انتونيت كان واقف في برشلونه وشايف ناس بيتظاهروا لانه ما في رغيف وكل شيء، واقف ما حوله خدم، فقام سال واحد من الخدم جماعه ديل مالهم بيتظاهروا، قال يا اخي الجماعه ديل ما في رغيف، قال يا اخي ما في رغيف ما يشتروا كيك. الان في ناس قاعدين ما بيمسكوا ساوث سودانيز باوند، بيمسكوا دولار الجو.
يس
ديل الان بيشوفوا اللي بيبكوا ما بيصرفوا رواتب 6 شهور بيضحكوا فيهم لانه مش غريب كيف يعني زول ما يكون له رواتب 6 شهور.
لا قطع حديثك استاذ مدين. انت عارف بقول لي شنو؟ بقول لي كلامكم بيضرب لي تليفون من جوبا بقول انتوا هناك او في كندا وفي استراليا وفي امريكا you guys don't know what you're talking about. What you're doing is a noise. انت لو جيت جوبا هنا you will not even يعني انت you will not see any different. اللي انتوا قاعدين تقولوا الناس متفرقين وفي مشاكل في you will not feel this here. This is what they're saying. You know?
ده حقيقة.
You cannot pretend. Go ahead, تفضل.
Of the regime, from the regime, that's their impression because they're living in paradise. They're living in world. And the whole nation is living in different world. ما هنا عندنا أهل، عندنا ناس شغالين في حكومة، عندنا أهل بيضربوا لنا تليفونات، أنا أعيان، أنا داير لي مساعدة، أنا داير لي غيره، أنا داير لي غيره. إذا كان الحكومة ده مثلا هو بيوفر إمكانيات للناس، لازم يضربوا 24 ساعة مش أنا براي مدين لغيره. And by the way, why we are talking here, not because we want to go back into this government. That's not our impression. Because this is our people, and it's our role that to highlight the issues they are facing.
They cannot talk. If they talk, they would be thrown in jail, or they would be, it would be shut down. We know that.
At least in the every day, at least. ما بزي ممكن ينوم من بجوع يموت بجوع. لكن في ناس زي ما أنت قلت قبل almost 25,000 في تجارة تونيا الآن قاعدين في عراق، قاعدين في غابات يعني ما إنه ماشي. In the displacement within South Sudan قاعدين في مخيمات. The displacement since 2013 until today. What country it is and what government it is. These are the facts that our people must understand, must know exactly what is going on in that country. People have to rise up, have to come together, forget about all differences, and face the policies of divide and rule invest by President Kiir on the people of South Sudan according to against their will for him to survive, to rule this country with his regime and clique who are there in power in Juba. Thank you very much again, and I will give a floor to others to. Thank you.
Ashkura Gusad Mading Maniel. I don't want you to go away. I'm going to drop 2 of you, and I will remain with Ustaz Wall, and then Dengid Ayog, and Ustaz James Agustin, I can see there, and also Ustaz Abdullah Garang and Makir. Get ready, and we need everybody to come and weigh in. We still with discussion of breaking the silence by Gen Council of Elders. That's our main topic tonight. And also Aldo Ajodeng, he's denying this statement. He said, oh, we did not write it. We don't know who wrote the statement. It's a usual politics, the usual thing. They do things, and then when we start, following them and discussing them, and then they say, no, we did not do it. Maybe somebody did it. Who is that somebody? We'll find out. So Ustaz Mading, I'm going to drop you, but don't go away. We need you. The discussion is so important. We're going to bring you back, inshallah, Badjoya, into Ustaz Wunti Marial. Now, Ustaz Wulding Attack. The statement is called Breaking the Silence. Did JCE properly break the silence and come up with something positive for the country after breaking their long silence that they set? They break the long silence. What is your comment, please, on this title? I want to go ahead. Go ahead, please, and give us your insight, and then I will drop these two brothers, and I'll bring them back later. Ustaz Wul, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Ustaz Jankur, for this question.
Now,
personally, I think the JCE has, for the first time, come up with something that is uniting the nation. Let me a little bit go further to say that the JCE, as citizen of South Sudan, members of the citizen of South Sudan, citizenship of South Sudan, do have right to self-expressions. Freedom of speech is grounded in the in the constitution of the South Sudan. However, all the expression that they have been making are in one way or another one-sided. But for this particular moment, in their letter, they expressed what is uniting and what is South Sudan need to hear. The voices of the people concur with the voices that we are hearing here. That the nation, South Sudan, need a change, a breathing in space. The breathing in space is to let President Salva Kiir and Dr. Riek Machar to humbly exit power. And that's what came out in the national dialogue. To state it another way, the letter that I've read purported to have come from the Young Council of Elders endorses the resolutions of the national dialogue. And the key to this I would like to highlight are the fact that the national dialogue says the people of South Sudan prefer Riek and Kiir to exit active political, participation in the nation politics. They either resigned or go through elections or declare that they are going not to contest in elections.
Correct.
They call on reform of the army, the police, national security, and so forth. For the purpose of this letter, let me break down a little further.
Yeah, go ahead.
The importance of reform. Like the national army, the mighty SPLA has been deformed beyond its values and to destruction. The SPLA that we knew was fighting for free and fair nations, democratic South Sudan, was fighting to be an independent institution that support and defend the country named South Sudan. But it has been politicized by the leadership of South Sudan. How has it been? The SPLA has been used as a political wing of the SPLM, used to defend the party, used as, like, for example, generals are appointed to the civil authorities, and civil authorities are taken to the army, and that confused the army.
Correct.
You see, that situation needs to be reformed. If it's kept like that, the country will not go forward. The message that we are seeing today will continue. They will divide themselves among the politicians based on their allies, either the ideology or tribes or so forth. We need to reform that army and make it a national army that defends the territorial integrity of South Sudan, and not individual political party or the individual leader. And that's how the country works. You've seen it in the US, you've seen it in other places recently. Second to it, we have a national security that was supposed by design to collect, analyze information, and make recommendation to executive. But what we have now is a kind of a militia that supports Salva Kiir, arrest when you criticize Kiir, let you go when you counterfeit the money or corrupt the system to the destruction of South Sudan. You still go free, but you can only be arrested if you speak against the president or you criticize the party or the government. It's arrest instead of collecting the information from the people that you want to get from who are destroying the country. It just arrest individuals that are criticizing, torture them, kill them, and even rape, as per the recent report. That is not the work of national security and it needs to be reformed. But it cannot be reformed under Salva Kiir and Riek Machar at the present stage. We have the national police that has been denied resources. Police track, police are not paid, police are suffering. But the work has been given to the military intelligence, to the national security. They are redundant. What do? They resort to corruption. And that itself is a threat to the nation, South Sudan, and need reform. Salva Kiir and Riek Machar cannot do it. You go to the prisons, like you go today in the Juba, you'll find thousands arrested. Yeah, even and they're not being taken care of. The system is so rotten that I spoke to someone who has been in prison for 18 months. He said for the 18 months that he has been in prison, every month, prisoners are carried out dead because of congestion and diseases that they were not supposed to have been, but are never reported somewhere. System is so messed. You go to the education system, you find today, let's go, for example, a country so endowed with the resources, oil, gold, diamond, all those we have, is so poor to the extent that the children go to school under the trees. When it rains, the learning stops. You have no hospitals. What we have are just shells without medical facilities. Medical experts, you see, like for example, recently we have Dr. Taban in South Africa. Where he was appreciated, his skill is needed because he's a medical doctor trained to serve human being. And he went to South Africa where he is appreciated, where he's given facilities to save lives. And he has made miracles in South Africa in treating COVID-19. Such doctors are all over. If there were facilities and they were appreciated in South Sudan.
It did well, Malish. I'm sorry to cut you off. And I'm grateful that you brought that point up. Dr. Taban actually did a miracle, really, indeed, in South Africa. And we saw him in CNN here in America. That's how he was sucking, there's stuff that happened. Mucus on the patient within the airways. Those are the ones that blocking, and then the patient will not be able to breathe and die quickly. But he succeeded. This is a proud son of South Sudan. But he left, like we said in our document, to look for green pasture, and that's why in South Africa. Go ahead.
So if they are appreciated and we have facilities and we have a government in place that is so people-centered, they would invest those resources into building health facilities that will attract back all our sons and daughters who are abroad, either teaching or providing managerial positions, services or medical services to the foreign nations. And here leaving our people without. And sure, they cannot do anything without facilities to serve human, to treat them. But the government we have in Juba for the last 10 years has proven that they cannot and will never put the people into that perspective. And the only way is a change. Change them and bring in the people that will express love for South Sudan, not from what they get from South Sudan, but what they give into South Sudan as a nation. This cannot happen under our brother Salva Kiir and brother Riek Machar. They're exhausted and they lost the track. And it will take time to get them back. To come again into infrastructure. South Sudan has learned, that was one of the professors made fun of it, that if you take a nail and plant it in South Sudan soil, it will grow leaves olives because the land is so fertile. Yet we depend on Uganda for tomatoes, potatoes, food, unga or wheat flour or maize flour, which never used to be in South Sudan.
And now he's calling us, we are blue.
Yeah, we are blue because we made ourselves to think. I mean, he can call us what he thinks he is because the leadership has made us so weak and laughing stock of the rest of the world. Now, if we have a government that is forward thinking, power struggle will not be an issue. The issue would be how to build the citizens and open up. Let me get the criticism and see where I'm going wrong and do something for the country. But because pride, well gathering has taken center of the government, it's become a crying for a citizen to express their mind. All this to go away, we need our brother Riek Machar and Salva Kiir to leave so that such poisoned environment can heal again and be cleared up and bring the nation back together. That we will not look ourselves as Nuer or Dinka or Asholi, Bari, and so forth. We look ourselves as South Sudanese, as a nation, as the only tribe that brings us together. The nationalism, patriotism for South Sudan. This cannot happen in this environment where we have Salva Kiir and Riek Machar fighting, defending their personal ego rather than the ideology for serving South Sudan. Because why I'm saying this is Salva Kiir won't accept to be defeated by Riek Machar. Riek feels it's a humiliation if Kiir defeats him. But that is a shame. It should be like the ideologies, not individual pride. But seeing they've already dressed themselves in this and they're stuck by it and they cannot get out of it. The best thing to do, therefore, my brothers and sisters, is for us to unite and humbly ask them to leave. Therefore, on regards to JCE letter, the recognitions of the aspiration of the people of South Sudan is a beginning, and I actually appreciate them for that. While I disagree to some of the expressions during the peace talk that the response to some of the proposals made by opposition during negotiation in 2014 were actually outplaced because they were responding before the government responds and government will follow the same tune, creating an impression that they are the one guiding the government, creating an impression that this is the government of the Dinka, creating fear in our fellow citizens that the Dinka have united against them, which was not the truth. The truth is, Young Council of Elders are politicians. They want to remain relevant to the politics, to the public. They want to create something that will keep them in power. Some of them are members of parliament from Dinka constituency that they would expect to be elected back. And they want to express them that they stand by the interests of this particular group, not necessarily representing the government. Some of them are redundant, and for them to get back into the scene, they must be seen active in saying things like this. And sometimes negative publicity, sometimes is still a publicity, and they'll go for it. But unfortunately, it has come to the detrimental service to the nation. However, I will not condemn them much. We'll pick them from here and say, welcome on the board. You've taken the right step. I'm not condemning you. Welcome, and shoulder to shoulder, let's unite as a citizen of South Sudan and save our country. That's what I could say of them. Is great, well done later. Again, there's a say that you cannot quarrel with the crocodile before you cross the river. So I understand if they say, yes, this is, we welcome it, and then they go back and say, we have not written it. It's understandable because the river is infested with wild crocodiles.
Because Aldo Ajudeng already said that they did not do this. See? Go ahead.
So it's a possibility that they're living in the river infested with the crocodiles or living in a dens of lion where the national security threaten everybody. Possibly they might be justified to say that, but a person worth his own salt stand by what he says. I will encourage them to stand by, just like the National Dialogue stood by what the people of South Sudan have said. Change is inevitable. It's only you and I then can bring it forth. My brothers and sisters, I'll stop there and wait for another question from you, Ustaz Jongo.
Thank you, Ustaz Woldeng Attack, for great perspective and insight. I'm going to move to these two brothers here. Welcome, Moses Maker Kinjwak, and welcome, my dear brother, Moses James Agostino Dongolo. I'm sorry, for not saying your name accurately. And I want you to move a little bit to the right or to the left so we can see you fully in the screen. Here we go. Now we can see you on the screen. Thank you, Brother Wool. I'm going to drop you actually and bring you back again because I want to give more chances for the people.
Awesome.
Bring those of Ustaz Dengdi later also. Whoever want to participate today, this is the day for everybody, to come and weighing that.
Let me give them a last summary of what I want to say before I go. Okay.
I was going to go to Ustaz James, but yeah, let me go ahead and give you that. And then I'll go to Ustaz James Agostino and then Ustaz Moses. Go ahead, Wool.
My fellow South Sudanese, what I want to tell you is this. We have a reason why you and I are still breathing today. South Sudan has lost 2.5 million citizens fighting for the independence of South Sudan, and we got it. The responsibility to carefully take South Sudan as a whole and hand it over to the next generations lies in your hands and in my hands. It is exactly in our hands. America, United Nations, or whoever you might have in mind would never come and solve the problems of South Sudan. It is you and I that need to join our hands together and move shoulder to shoulder to save our country. At least to give something to the future, to our children, that, look, this is what we handed over to us, we improve on it, and yet he's do the same thing. We can only do that by showing that we can sacrifice, and sacrifice begin right now at the most difficult time that the country is facing. Stand up and stay tall and move forward to bring our country for better. Thank you very much, and may God bless you, and may God bless South Sudan.
Thank you, Ustaz Wool again, and please stick around, don't go away. We are going to need you to be in this very important discussion tonight. So thank you. I'm going to go let you go. And Ustaz Agostino, welcome. Moses, welcome. Now I want to give a chance to Agostino to go ahead and air out his perspective. Ustaz Agostino James. Ustaz James Agostino. Go ahead. تفضل.
أستاذ جون كور وحي مستمعي منتدى The Concerned Citizen لإتاحة الفرصة، وأنا أشكرك لده. صراحة أخي جون كور، ظهور جين كانسل المفاجئ في المشهد السياسي طال الانتظار. يعني نحن كمواطني جنوب السودان كنا منتظرين منذ فترة